a hero of the Great Patriotic War, 6-year-old Sergei Aleshkov. Sergei loses all of his relatives and is adopted by soldiers of the Red Army. The soldiers play games with Sergei in order to preserve his childhood, and he, in order to comply with this honorary title, becomes a true defender of the motherland. This sci-fi movie gonna blow your mind. Let's watch. The story starts in Russia, where a family is enjoying their time by the river. The youngest brags about being on top of a tree when German fighter jets suddenly appear. The family was scared, but the fearless 6-year-old takes a shot at the jets with his slingshot, surprising everyone by hitting them. However, when he looks around, his family was gone and he was calling for his mom. Serezha wakes up scared from this dream. Just then, someone knocks on his door. Thinking it's his mom, he rushes to open it, but it's a worried neighbor instead. She thanks God he's alive and sadly informs him that his mom and brother didn't make it. The little boy struggles to understand and wants to wait for his mom, but the neighbor reveals that the Germans attacked and he needs to run. As soldiers approach, the woman helps Serezha escape through the window but tragically gets shot before she can join him. He finds himself all alone, without any family or friends. He runs away from his home, witnessing his neighborhood in flames as he desperately calls for his mother. After a while of running, he ends up in the middle of the woods, feeling lost and scared. That night, he stayed there. The next morning, he drinks water from a river when enemy soldiers approach. Serezha, aware of danger, hides inside tree roots. Despite encountering a snake, he remained silent. He was more afraid of the soldiers than the serpent. When the soldiers leave, Serezha eats their leftover food for the night. He continues walking, exhausted and hungry, having not eaten properly in 2 days. Despite limping and falling, he presses on, eating wild berries along the way. Eventually, he falls unconscious, and while he sleeps, 2 soldiers approach him. The story shifts to a Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov eagerly awaits his patrol soldiers. They arrive with a little injured boy who seems frail. Despite initial uncertainty, the soldiers declare their support for the commander, prompting the boy to open up and introduce himself. Laughter ensues as the soldiers encourage him to shake hands with the commander. Surprisingly, the soldiers show affection for the kid, forming a circle around him, offering water and feeding him. Even the usually stern commander takes care of the child. Nurse Katya tends to Serezha's wounds, charmed by his personality. Serezha, fascinated by military life, asks Katya to draw a tank on his wounds, expressing his dream of becoming a soldier. Injured soldiers join in the conversation, lightening the atmosphere. Serezha, enamored with the commander's gun and badge, bombards him with questions. The commander, surprisingly warm, answers all queries and lets Serezha play with his honorary pistol after removing the bullets. Serezha proudly displays the tank drawing on his stomach, boasting about his soldier aspirations. As Serezha quickly heals, Katya proposes letting him stay with the battalion, but the commander disagrees, citing safety concerns, opting to send him to an orphanage instead. Despite this decision, soldiers dedicate their free time to Serezha, and he receives numerous visitors throughout the day. They shared their family's far-away food with him, and even let him play with their binoculars. One day, a soldier asked the commander if the boy could stay with them. The soldiers had grown close to him, treating him like family, and his presence eased the burden of war. The commander, concerned for the boy's safety, insisted on sending him to an orphanage. The next day, enemies attacked, and many soldiers were injured. A vehicle arrived to take Serezha to the orphanage. The commander gave him a wooden honorary pistol as a parting gift, but Serezha, scared for the commander's safety, hugged him. The commander melted in his embrace, and the commander changed his mind and asked Serezha to stay as his son. That night, the soldiers joyfully made little soldier clothes for Serezha. They were delighted to have Serezha with them. The commander woke him, presented the clothes, and Serezha wore that and excitedly ran around, resembling a real soldier. They affectionately called him their little soldier boy. Suddenly, a German air attack started. The soldiers protected Serezha and fought back with the enemy. The number of injured soldiers was increasing. Serezha wanted to help and brought water to the thirsty soldiers. One of the injured asks him to read a letter sent by his family because he has a bandage over his eyes. But Serezha didn't know how to read yet, making up stories pretending it's written in the letter, claiming that the soldier's cow is safe at home. Surprised soldier said he didn't have a cow. The others told him to go along with the story and enjoy it. He started singing to cheer them up. We witness Katya and the commander having a conversation. It's clear they like each other, but they haven't admitted it yet. Later on, Serezha introduces himself to the commander as an orderly position. Serezha wanted to thank the soldier who made him uniform. They went and saw the soldier's station destroyed in an attack. The commander teaches him to show respect by taking off his hat for the deed soldier. The next day, Sergei asks the commander for a mission and is assigned to distribute letters among the soldiers. He does a great job and even gets the soldiers to dance. One day, Sergei uses binoculars a bit far from the base and discovers movement in a haystack. He rushes back to inform the soldiers, who are initially doubtful but follow him. They find German spies hiding, and Sergei is praised for his smart discovery. That night, the commander reveals legal papers for Sergei's adoption, making him officially his father. After realizing the commander likes Katya, Sergei tries to help him confess. However, they see Katya talking to another man and wrongly assume she's interested elsewhere. The story takes a turn when the base is attacked again. Sergei helps by supplying ammunition, but the soldiers order him back to the shed for safety. In the shed, he finds the commander and others worried about losing contact with the colonel due to a phone connection issue. A soldier was sent to fix the broken telephone wires. Sergei decided to follow him and discovered that the soldier was seriously hurt. Sergei asked the dying soldier how to fix the wires, and with determination, he fixed them himself. The connection was restored, and more troops were called to the rescue. In this critical moment, the 6-year-old boy saved everyone's lives. Later, by the river, the commander and Katya were deep in conversation. The commander finally expressed his love for her and proposed that she become Sergei's mother. Katya was ecstatic, but before she could respond, a soldier approached with a letter, announcing their dispatch from the base. The next day, all the soldiers, including Sergei, left for their new base. However, they encountered a minefield on the way, resulting in explosions that damaged their vehicles. The commander was injured, and Sergei's close friend among the soldiers lost his life. Sergei, overcome with grief, cried and embraced the wounded commander. Despite the tragedy, they continue their journey to their new base, carrying the injured with them. Upon reaching the new base, they met the commander's leader, General. The general was impressed by Sergei's courage and intelligence, congratulating the commander for having such a remarkable kid. The following day, their division and Sergei were honored with a guard's banner. Sergei promised to defend his country when the general presented him with a badge, sealing their journey with pride and a sense of duty. One night, Sergei and the commander were walking around and suddenly their group came under a fierce attack. Fortunately, Sergei was safe, but the commander got stuck under the wreckage. Sergei, desperate and scared, called for help and joined the other soldiers in rescuing their commander. Despite injuring his own hands in the process, Sergei managed to save him. From that day on, Sergei became an inseparable part of the team. With no family of his own, can move with the soldiers wherever they went in the war. The story concludes as the group moves to another base, and a narrator shares that Sergei is known for his legendary contribution to the war, the world's youngest soldier, and he participated in battles like Stalingrad, and even reached Poland with the soldiers. If you find this teeny tiny soldier boy adorable, please like the video and drop a heart in the comment section and do subscribe. See you tomorrow.